What's good, YouTube and Twitch? The weekend is over, a new set is out, and we're here with a market watch that's pretty crazy in terms of the new cards released. The Invokeds are here, aka the Eidolons to a lot of you guys. So, let's go ahead and get into it. It is now invoked only in the TCG. I believe none of the names have Eidolons. So, a lot of them are pretty cheap, right? Raijin, which is actually one of the best ones, barely hanging around that $4 price point and still dropping when it released at $8. And let's see what else. So Mechaba. Mechaba here is one of the chase cards. Apparently, one per box of Mechaba or the fusion spell, even though we've seen people get lucky and get two and one. The average seems to be one of him or one of the fusion spell per box. Yeah. If you go on over to eBay, Mechaba's already being listed for much cheaper. This one's German, though, you have to note. And then it's 30 for an English, 31. But it's definitely cheaper than TCG Player right now at the price point of almost 40. So, definitely be shopping both when it comes to newer cards if you are being a buyer. Like, if you're buying the cards, I would actually just wait. I don't think this deck is going to be as expensive for this part of the deck as people might think. Although the fusion spell really surprised me, and we'll get into that in a second. But as you see, the rest of these cards are relatively cheap with the archetype. Now, Invocation itself, TCG Player, $60. What? Invocation? Oh man, that meme was beautiful. But as you see, $60 is the price point because this is what you need. A lot of people will play 3 of. It's searchable. It's what the deck runs off of course. Just kind of sucks. And here's the picture if you don't know what Invocation is, as well as the eBay listings. And we see a German cheapest also, $48. But then we see 48, a penny above in the English section. And then it quickly rises. There's not many of these. But at the same time, with how many people wanted to play this and the quantity being 1 per every other box or whatever, I don't know, guys. This is kind of scary. I would hope it wouldn't go past this for its archetype. But Crystal Wing is as high as it is because of people expecting this deck. So I really don't know where this one's going to go up. I don't know how to advise you guys at all. What I always tell people that ask me if they should get it now or later, I tell them, well, if you're going to play in a tournament, go and get it. It's really hard to tell if it's going to go up or down. You shouldn't be getting it based off of that. You should be getting it based off of, well, I'm going to play it in a tournament or not, and then you can always move it after the tournament if you really wanted to. But if it's the deck you want to play, I guess get it. I see it going down, personally. But I really actually, part of me also sees it with such low quantities, and this box probably not going to be open much. I see it staying around here also. Like, it's really splitting. It could be the next Omega in a sense that you actually play multiple of. I don't know, guys. I really don't know. This one is rough. I thought it would be a $25 card, but of course ratios are very important. And of course, this being one of the best fusions, the negation of monster spell or traps, and being such a short print, that was pretty surprising as well. MX Saber Invoker. Alright, so this is another case of TCG Player versus eBay. The lowest near mint unlimited is 78. You see first set is about 79. $62 over here before it's quickly rising to 70. So there's only one person on market with it at this. And then it's 70. I guess I don't know what's going on with TCG Player sellers right now. Again, remember, everybody selling are typically individual sellers. Some of them are vendors. You see Adam Corn in here, lowest near mint. Overdose Gaming, as usual, on a lot of these cards. I really don't know what's going on with Invoker here, besides, you know, it's the ultimate combo starter, and it's really hard to get them. But he just continues to rise and rise and rise. You see the norm is supposed to be 71, which is kind of what it is on eBay, but again, It's bought out at that price point on TCG Player, and people are not listing lower. It's like they're all holding that line. It's crazy. So always remember to be checking both of your sites. I know I sound like a broken record on that with a lot of these, but I also know a lot of people aren't showing off multiple of these when they do their market watches, and so things will look a little higher than they are. I really would suggest to anybody who's doing a market watch to be showing both of these as well. And it's really good to help people get their lowest price point. Lost Wind. Lost Wind. Oh man, look at that chart. Woo, woo, woo. Lost Wind is needed in Paleozoic decks. It's a really good card. If you haven't heard what this card does, target one face-up special summon monster on the field. It has its effects negated, also its original attack is halved. Both of these are permanent. It's just a superior breakthrough skill, and it's a breakthrough skill almost in terms of recurrence. If a monster is special summoned from your opponent's extra deck while this card's in the graveyard, except during damage step, you can set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So it gets recurrence as well as being one of the most insane negators. It's a shrink negation. Really good card that actually recurs itself. And, you may be going, well, John, $1 is not much. Why are you showing this? Do I need to get it now? No. The point is, I've actually been watching this card all the way since it was a 30-cent card, and to 60, and to 70, and now it's $1. That's a huge climb. It's been climbing rather rapidly, even though it says normal price of $1.12. It has been climbing over time, and I just finally wanted to show it off. One thing to note is there's actually a decent quantity of these on TCG Player. But on eBay, there's actually not many. There's only 18 on eBay. So it's just one of those cards that are becoming a staple for certain people running a deck. And when things become a staple, they tend to even out and keep going up. Similar to Kieran, Gamma Seal, Rares. This could continue to climb. But it's definitely something you're playing in the Paleozoic builds. Paleozoics being already cheap. You know, this is actually going to end up being one of the harder pieces to get until that deck gets hit on a ban list that hasn't happened in over 6 months. Skull Servant Ultra Rares. Gosh darn it, I can't foil them out anymore. Well, Skull Servant Ultras are lowest 8 over here and low $7.50 over here before it's $10. So even if you're trying to buy a playset, obviously between eBay and here, let's see how many, because there's only 14 sellers here and only 4 on eBay. It's actually just so low quantity. It's basically the next Aqua Mador. But I believe they're ultras instead of secrets, but that shouldn't matter too much since the ratio is about the same. Let's see. 8, 9, 9, 9, 10. Oh man. I don't know, guys. It's a 3 of, which is kind of, you know, symbolic of, well, there's a lot of people who actually want to play this deck and want it to look good for them. And this is the highest rarity in a sense, Skull Servant. I would prefer First Ed LOB personally. Actually, let's check out First Ed LOB. First Ed, First LOB Skull Servant. Let's figure this out, boys. 7 total only. Looks much cheaper though. $2. Oh, plus 3 shipping. Never mind, that's 5. So we have $2 here though. Heavy play. So they're up there too, guys. First Ed Skull Servants. It's just like people want this deck to look nice for them. They're playing a deck that actually can compete. I believe it got like people's invites at OTSs this weekend. I don't cover OTSs, but it's pretty cool that people are getting their invites with this deck. And I've seen it get an invite at a regional too. It's just pretty cool that it's able to do that. Of course, shoutouts to Lintheo and, you know, DZeef. But they love this deck. They enjoy playing it. I just can't ever see myself spending that kind of money, but I get it. I do get it, and I get how it gets to it. It's a legendary collection card. Those creep on up. And the final one's an oddity to me. Number 103 Ragna Zero Supers are actually trending upwards. You see $4 here. $3.50 market, and it's actually similar on eBay. There's only one for $3.70. I checked because it said in hand rather than near mint. It says near mint in the listing. Tip to the seller: In hand, I would get it if the set just released, but typically you want to put near mint in your listing so people know it's mint. I had to search for that in the listing, and then you see 433, 444, so really, really confusing. I get Tenki's getting played, but every single time I see this card played, it just doesn't go well for the player that plays it, I feel like. Like, is it a preventative for your opponent playing Tenki? I don't necessarily think it's a great card. That's my personal opinion. I guess it stops every starter but Mulmurat in a sense, and Barrage, and Terror Top. I can't justify this being this high in my opinion, but I can see where people's lines of thoughts are going with it in the format a bit. And let me know if something's coming out that Ragnar Zero is good against. I haven't seen any announcements that would really support it trending upwards. I guess it actually hits Decode Talker because it gains attack from its link zones. Really weird. Again, Decode Talker actually stops things that target though, so that can't be it. Oh man, let me know in the comment section below, guys. And what do you guys think about this market watch as a whole? We've got the Invokes coming out. I think they're pretty high, but I can understand by the ratios of why they're so high, especially what Invocation. And let me know about the Saber here. Like, it's definitely way different on TCG Player. Getting plot out on TCG Player almost it feels like, but it's also kind of that there's a high quantity of them. I feel like they're just holding the line high on TCG Player. And maybe they're getting sales, maybe they're getting rewarded. What do you guys think about Lost Wind being the next dollar rare? It's actually kind of not too common for rares to hit that point. So it's kind of nice to see, actually, in my opinion. Maybe make yourself some money if you haven't. Maybe hold on to it. Play it in your Paleos if you didn't know about it. You should know about it by now. Skull Servant. First at LOB and Ultra, get it on up there. And Ragnar Zero, let me know what you guys think.